Welcome to today's edition of Does It Live Up to the Hype? I am your host, folks, the Mighty Plantain. Big thank you to Brian G. for giving me the heads up that Meridian's in Fairfield, Maine had a shipment of Russian River brews in stock. As soon as I found out, I went rushing on down there to pick some up. But yeah. Okay, so all kidding aside, I have here Pliny the Elder from Russian River Brewing Company. Now, this is supposedly one of the, the top-notch, the pinnacle of beer making, according to a lot of people. This is the one to have. Respect your elder. Keep cold, drink fresh, do not age. Pliny the Elder is a historical figure. Don't make the beer inside this bottle one. Weird place for me to pause, but I had to turn the corner here. Not a barley wine style ale, do not age. Age your cheese, not your Pliny. Respect hops, consume fresh. And then, I don't know what does not improve with age. Hoppy beers are not meant to be aged, except for enjoy after Brett IPAs from Stone. Keep away from heat. If you must, sit on eggs, not on Pliny. Do not save for a rainy day. Pliny is for savoring, not for saving. Consume Pliny fresh or not at all. All right, so anyway, this particular beer, a lot of people talk about it in the beer world, and they say that it's like one of the best beers out there. And we here in Maine do not very often see it. I believe, if I'm remembering right, that it's one of those ones that's hard to get a hold of anyway because it's a limited release and people line up for it. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But anyway, this one was bottled on the hell? 09/13. Oh my God. September 13th of this year at 10:53 a.m. I assume what the 10:53 is. All right. Russian River, Pliny the Elder. Apparently one of the greatest beers ever made. We got a fresh, cold one. We're going to check it out. Try to do it justice with the pour here. We'll get a little aggressive, try to put a head on it, which I always struggle with, and I did okay. All right, so clear, fairly clear, maybe slightly hazy, very effervescent. Look at that lovely cascade of tiny little bubbles coming up from the nucleation point at the bottom there. Very nice. Again, slightly hazy. Very yellowish beer, like a golden color up here, though. It's a lovely, lovely looking beer. Oh, that's definitely hoppy. Now, I'm going to try to say this only once. I'm keyed towards citrus and pine, so I'm going to pick up on those more than anything else, but I am definitely getting pine and citrus in the aroma. I'm trying to avoid reading this description here. I'll hit it afterwards because I'm not exactly sure what type of beer this is supposed to be, but there's hints of earthiness there too. And an oddly metallic tang, which could just be the pine and citrus interplaying and hitting off of the earthy notes, but there's definitely a metallic tang there. Okay, and it's not from a can because that's a bottle. Damn, that's nice. It's got a fairly medium mouthfeel. Maybe slightly greasy. With a lot of hops in there, you can have an oily beer, though. It's odd because it's like a mouthful of hops at first, but then it hits you with a big hoppy punch as well. Up front, I'm just getting a general hoppy flavor. There's a somewhat decent malt backbone there. It's got some body to pin those hops on, but I'm not getting any particular graininess from it. It's basically, like I said, just an overall nice hoppy flavor, and then all of a sudden a punch of hoppiness that resolves after the initial overall almost but not quite overwhelming hoppy bitterness. It fades to a decent earthy flavor, and again, me being keyed mostly towards citrus and pine, I'm impressed by anything that hits me with something other than those two primarily. So I'm getting a nice earthy character with a hint of dankness. With some grassy notes. Maybe a tiny hint of floral. And then all of a sudden the pine makes a big surge. And I'm getting hints of citrus, which is funny because I got mostly pine and citrus in the aroma, but they're taking a back seat in terms of the flavor. Pretty much most of the major hoppy esters that most people pick up on are there. That metallic aroma that I was picking up on isn't quite making itself apparent in the flavor unless it's kind of melded in with the rest of the earthy and dank flavors there. I mean, in terms of a hop soup of beer flavor, it's really good. I would say yes, it does live up to the hype. I almost want to give it a 5 out of 5, but I think that's mostly based on its reputation. Honestly, for me, this is hitting as close to that as possible without quite giving me that full-on wow reaction. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. The only thing keeping me back from that is the fact that it's all hops. I'm not getting any other character. And I've given some other IPAs a full 5 out of 5 rating with nothing but the hoppy flavor. But for some reason, I think I expected more from this. So maybe the hype is working against it. Anyway, it's not standing out as unique or different enough to push it into that perfect 5 out of 5 wow category for me. But it is honestly as close as it could possibly get. Pardon. Now, if I hadn't had something like Stone's Ruin 10 or I'm trying to think of a Sam Adams hoppy beer that is an equivalent. They haven't put one out in a while. Noble Pills maybe, or one of the Latitude 48s. But I guess I just if this was the first beer like this that I had, it probably would have gotten the full 5 out of 5. And again, maybe it's reputation and my desire to say that it's overhyped is playing against it. I don't know. But I just can't quite put it in that full 5 out of 5 for me. It's as close as it can get, but it's not unique enough to put itself there. And yeah, I kind of feel like an ass for saying that, but I gotta be honest, right? Anyway, so 4.5 out of 5 from me for the Pliny the Elder. I definitely have nothing bad to say about it. It's one that I would gravitate towards continuously. If I could get it on a regular basis, I'd probably stock up on it. So, Pliny the Elder was a Roman naturalist, scholar, historian, and author. In his writings, he refers to lupus salictarius, maybe? Meaning wolf among scrubs. likely an early reference to hop vines growing wild among willows. Pliny the Elder died in 79 AD while saving people during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Nice. I was actually just watching a documentary about volcanoes earlier that talked about Vesuvius and the Campiflagre super caldera in the same vicinity. Anyway, he was immortalized by his nephew and adopted son Pliny the Younger. I knew there was a Pliny the Younger, I just didn't know the significance. Pliny the Elder, the beer, is a full-bodied, hop-forward double IPA. Keep refrigerated and consume fresh to enjoy this beer's intense hop character. Well, it has definitely got an intense hop character. Anyway, I think I've exhausted everything I can say about it. But as always, that's just my opinion. Hit me up down below in the comments or the email link. Love to hear what you have to say about Pliny the Elder. I believe they do a Pliny the Younger too, which is a single IPA. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Doesn't matter because Russian River doesn't show up here often enough for it to be a factor for me, but I will be keeping an eye out, and hopefully the folks in the area who keep an eye out for these things for me will let me know if I miss it showing up. Anyway, while you're down there talking about the beer with me in the comments or the email link, make sure you hit me up with a like and a share. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.